Hi everyone, thanks for being with me on my show. I'm going to talk about a woman by the name of Pearl Davis. Now, some of you who are connected to social media and particularly connected to the right wing might know who Pearl is. I had no idea until I was watching a clip from the Young Turks today, and Cenk and Anna were talking about her and a whole host of right-wing women who are advocating that women should be subservient to men, basically, and that they're trying to revert us back to the comforts of the 1940s and 50s and before, when women were doing whatever men told them to do and were taking up roles within the household which clearly men didn't want to do. And as a result of that, they weren't working and they were just raising kids and doing all that sort of stuff. So this is the place that they want us to go back to, apparently. And something that I would resist. My wife, who's a feminist, would certainly resist any of those ideas. And all us men should resist them as well. But there's people like Pearl Davis who, interestingly enough, even though she, I believe, I haven't watched all of these videos at all, but this is from what I understand, is that Pearl is an influencer who has quite a following. In fact, on her YouTube channel, she's got 1.6 million people following her. And she advocates that women shouldn't work, that they should get married, have families, look after the kids, all that sort of stuff. And Anna on the Young Turks did remind us that Pearl's probably making a Pearl load of money from her YouTube channel. She's got 1.6 million followers and she's building that following up. I'm sure it's monetized. I'm sure this is her work and I'm sure she's making money from it. And I believe that she isn't married or has kids. So all the things she talks about, she has no experience in because she's a hypocrite. But in this particular section, so she was on, I just need to say this, she was on Piers Morgan, and Piers was having a go at her for a anti-Semitic video that she posted. That was a song she was singing, and singing it poorly, I hasten to add, but it got a lot of coverage. So it surprises me that some of these people who really are bereft of any intelligence, in my view. I'm sure they must be intelligent to some degree. They have 1.6 million viewers, for example. I have 114. So clearly they're doing something right, not criticising them for that. However, in terms of the things they talk about, I do wonder about the level of intelligence that they have and whether or not it's simply about having something that you think is of value to you and you simply put it into, develop it and put it into some sort of social media platform and people pick it up. And people pick it up because they either agree with you or they think you're an idiot and they'll watch you anyway just to get a few laughs. A bit like the same way I watch some of these conspiracy theorists because I find them entertaining. I don't necessarily find people like Pearl entertaining. But I wanted to give you an example of what she's done. And one example anyway, so it's no great in-depth analysis, but it does talk a little bit more about where she's coming from and how she views the world. And it is about Kevin Spacek and about his recent case where he was accused of sexually assaulting 4 men and how Pearl turns this around to being a woman's issue where women, so the fact that Spacek is not a woman, he happens to be male, and this is males accusing another male of sexual assault, and somehow she makes it out to be a problem with feminism and women and how they all view now abuse and what is abuse. And it is, I tell you what, I don't know what you think, but anyway, I think it's quite incoherent. However, I could be wrong. And I'm happy for there to be any comments in relation to this. And, if you wish to make a comment, please do so below and please subscribe to my channel so I can get more than 114. So here's what she has to say and you let me know what you think.
And oftentimes later it comes out that they were 100% innocent. So a couple years ago, Kevin Spacey was charged with 9 sexual offenses. So recently, Kevin Spacey was found not guilty of sexual assault. So, guys, what is sexual assault? Again, the feminists infiltrated the legal system and it brought in all of these definitions that we don't know what they mean. So, they essentially.
So it interests me that she hasn't raised this issue in relation to sexual assault of women by men. She's talking about sexual assault of men by another male. And I think, she could have actually probably found sexual assault cases where there were women who were sexually assaulted. So I don't know why she chose Kevin in this particular instance, but she has.
Expanded the definition of sexual assault, rape. This is what they do. They come into these spaces and change the definitions and make them more subjective, not objective. So it's more subjective.
I'm pretty convinced she had to look up what subjective and objective were before she made that statement.
Whether or not someone was sexually assaulted. Like, think about it, guys. What does sexual assault even mean? What does it even mean?
I must admit, this is nitpicking, but why did she use the word guys? I thought guys had a male connotation. So she talks to people, guys. And I thought, if you're a feminist, you'd talk about, well, if she's an anti-feminist, but given that that's the stance she'd take, she might differentiate between guys and gals a little bit more clearly.
Like, just off the top of your head, we should know in a society what words mean. But what the feminists do is they get into these systems, change the definitions, and confuse everybody. So Kevin Spacey was acquitted of all 9 charges related to sexual offenses. The celebrated Oscar-winning actor Kevin Spacey initially faced 12 charges when the trial commenced at London Southwark's Crown Court. 3 of these charges were dropped during trial. The charges, which included 7 counts of sexual assault, were made by 4 men.
Now, I'm not going to bore you with the rest of that stuff around Kevin Spacey, but the interesting thing for me is that she is highlighting, she's almost defending, well, not she's almost, that's not true. She is defending Kevin Spacey and the issues in relation to the sexual assault. So she's basically saying that these people who accused him of sexual assault were able to do so because feminists have changed the language so much that that sexual assault can almost mean anything. So even though we know that abuse has a broad spectrum, there are some people who simply may feel abused and upset if someone swears at them. Another person, it might wash off them and they may not care about it. So it has a degree. The issue is to what degree is someone aggrieved from someone abusing them, no matter what that form might be. And she seems to think that somehow that feminists in particular, not society as a whole, not judges or the judiciary or parliamentarians or legislation has changed any of this, but that feminists, for some particular reason, are also powerful that they've been able to influence the way we view sexual assault. And it is wrong. It is, if you water down, what concerns me is if you try and water down in people's minds what is sexual assault, you've got to eventually be telling women that who are sexually assaulted that I can't talk about that, I can't discuss it, because there are people out there that will question whether or not in their mind it was even assault. So women who are afraid to go to the police and talk about their sexual assault as it stands at the moment, because they'll be so berated by the legal system and by lawyers and others and by social media, as this woman is doing, because she could have at least supported these men who were sexually assaulted by Spacey. And even though he was acquitted, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just means that there wasn't enough evidence in order to prove to a jury that it did. That's all that means. How many cases? Look, out of the 90% cases that get 90% cases that get taken to court for sexual assault against women, 10% are found to be guilty. 10%. Because it's so difficult to prove that, because it's one person, say, against another, unless there is an independent witness who can verify exactly what happened. So we know it's difficult. And this woman is making it even more difficult for women who already find it sometimes impossible to report sexual assault. They're making it more difficult for them. And she's selling the message that it's okay for men under certain circumstances to abuse women, because in her mind that some of the things that men may do to women are not abusive. And I think that people like Pearl Davis, frankly, are dangerous. They are dangerous because they're selling the wrong message. And who are they selling it to? I wonder. I haven't looked at the demographics, so I can't say. But my guess is she's selling this idea probably to younger women who think that she is fantastic because she's young herself, she's on YouTube, and she's got over 1 million viewers or subscribers. So I think that we need to confront some of this stuff, talk about it. I mean, and I'm grateful that the Young Turks talked about it. There was a great discussion, and that they're highlighting some of these strange new ways of viewing the world that are dangerous, because it leaves people becoming vulnerable, and it certainly leaves people becoming uncertain as to what sort of actions they need to take when they are abused, because people like Pearl Davis are saying that that's not abuse. What do you think? Please subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to, you can email me here. But let me know what you think, particularly in the comments area below, and I'll get back to you later on. Thanks, everybody, for being with me. Take care and look after yourself. Bye.